St. Paul, The Fan.
You homer! Yeah! Got to be careful with Johnny Pecker.
Double doink.
Time for two more.
9 to noon.
You like that?
Now, what did I do wrong?
What in the ham fat is going on with you guys?
The Vikings. PA and Charch.
You lucky suckers.
You want to change the conversation, win some games.
The Duke! The Duke! The Duke is on fire!
Oh my God! Kirko, chill!
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Hey, the Friday football feast has gone to full strength. It's PA and Charch. Full strength, you say. Always were. That's debatable. PA and Charch on a Friday. And, well, boys, Nordo by our side producing the Friday football feast. Our favorite squad is releasing this guy. Cousins under center, hands it off to Alexander Madison. He dropped the ball. Alexander dropped the ball at the 38-yard line. Right as he was going, and no signal, Eagles ball. Are you kidding me? Wonderful, wonderful opportunity for Alex that was dashed here for whatever the reason. And the Friday Football Feast wishes him well moving forward. Paul Charchian, we welcome you into the equation. And from a Minnesota Vikings standpoint, sans Alexander Madison, the Charchy, where do they go from here? And good morning.
Ty Chandler looks...
You didn't say good morning again.
Good morning. Ty Chandler looked okay last year. Not spectacular. How about promising? I'd use the word promising.
Yeah.
And you know my season-long frustration that it took until December to get Ty Chandler on the field and injuries to Madison.
Quite familiar.
Yeah, to get Chandler on the field. But I don't think Chandler showed enough to suggest that we can roll into next year with Ty Chandler. And I hope he gets better in year 3, but he did not make a statement that suggests he's our guy going into next year. Mm-hmm. This team's going to have to draft a running back. Now, the beauty of it is, as we all know, you don't have to spend day 1 and day 2 equity on a running back. You can find help in rounds 4, 5, 6, or in the case of the Chiefs, you can get a Super Bowl winning running back in round 7. So you can get help a lot of different places. In the draft, Vikings will do that. Yeah. Madison's time here was not a bust. He was a serviceable backup running back for most of his time, and a guy who, by the way, personally loved all of our conversations with him. Oh yeah, one of my favorite interviews, and people that were good to the station. Alexander Madison, in that respect, will be sad to see him go. But in terms of just on the field, he was a quality backup running back, and we'll remember his time here well. But he was not the lead back the Vikings hoped they would be at this time last year.
Nordy! Hey! I mean, we pay so much attention to quarterbacks and beef eaters and 3 techniques and corners and Toledo corners. I mean, how much do we have to start thinking about running backs? And good morning.
And good morning. And we may start to have to moving forward as we go through. And we'll talk some bits about rookies that may be flashing or expected to flash or not flashing in Indianapolis. We'll talk about that later. And now, of course, we have nearly 2 full months to talk about running backs and mid-round. I love the way Charch put it. It isn't going to be who are the Vikings taking at 11 as it pertains to running back, but it will be part of the conversation. I'm just kind of shocked that this domino fell first. And I'll admit, in some ways lazily, I assumed that this next year of Alexander Madison's contract was already guaranteed. Like that's money paid. It's all good, all set. So for me thinking, man, will they cut Alec? That never even entered into my mind.
Same.
And so, over the course of the season, similar to Charch, I was looking for more opportunities than were given early enough to Ty Chandler. And I'm scrambling to find it now towards the end of your conversation, PA, with along with Pete and Kevin O'Connell at the Combine. He had some comments to make about what Ty Chandler has to do specifically. Now, this is pre-news that Madison's being released, but some ideas from the head coach in terms of what he wants to see from Ty to get better. And it's some of the things we talked about. It is pass protection. It is awareness from an every down standpoint. It is just opening himself up really to the entire framework of the offense so that he can be potentially an every down player. So getting wiser, getting smarter, getting more physical in some respects on the field. That's the growth curve for Ty Chandler. But this Madison thing kind of shocked me yesterday when I saw it. I thought he was in and was going to be in 2024. And so the news yesterday, ultimately, it wasn't working. And I thought Madison was a guy, when he filled in for Dalvin in years past, that it was success by reps and rhythm. If you got him 20 to 25 carries, he might get you over the century mark. He was never going to be an explosive run away from you type of guy. And he's loose, was not necessarily an overture that was going to be used during an Alexander Madison run. But in a run game that's found situations in which it's either been all or nothing and lacking in productive, consistent explosion, Madison played into a lot of that, and he got his opportunity. He didn't run with it well enough, and so, as you said, best of luck to him with his next team.
Good Lord, ma'am. Look at these free agent running backs potentially hitting the market with the legal tampering in 10 days. And the real free agency, free agency as free agency would be known a week from Wednesday. The potential is Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Devin Singletary, tore it up a little bit late last year for the Texans, the beefeater A.J. Dillon, Zach Moss.
I like Zach Moss.
Zach Moss, those are the top 10 at the side. I'm looking at what you think about all that.
Well, I would just rule these guys out. Do I want a 27-year-old, 28-year-old, 29-year-old running back? Mm-hmm. Hell no. But the price on running backs has fallen so much that you could just say, you know what, for what it'll cost you to sign Austin Eckler, which might be shockingly cheap, he's our pass catching specialist now.
Right.
And we're gonna throw to Austin Eckler 70 times this year. He's gonna be our James White. That's a role that's where I'm interested. If these guys are cheap and they can be role players on your team, okay. Now I'm listening to these old guys. Right. But if it comes down to, but broadly, if it comes down to that, or taking some of the running backs in this draft that you can get in the third day, whether it's like Michigan's Blake Corum, who I'm really interested in, Florida State's Trey Benson, those are guys, that to me is your ultimate solve. Okay. But if you can get one of these veterans on a cheap deal that can do a specific thing to help your team, like be a great pass catcher like Austin Eckler, now I'm interested. Now I'm back in on these older vets, but that's the only scenario.
All right, well, maybe Cam Akers, maybe Cameron Akers is the lead back. Ty Chandler rolling with him. Will that trigger the co-host to complain all season? And good morning.
If this team rolls into the season with Cam Akers as the lead back, I might have heart failure on air.
What you got against Cam? He was good when he was here.
I got two Achilles on Cam. That's it. Look, nobody ever comes back from one, let alone two.
Oh, geez.
They obviously love Cam Akers, the person. I'm out on Cam Akers, the double Achilles rehab guy. That is, you're in totally uncharted territory for any running back to come back from that.
Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings from the National Football League Scouting Combine, had this to say about the potential heir apparent for Alexander Madison. His name is Ty Chandler.
Absolutely love where Ty finished the year. The big thing for him now, year 2 to year 3, is just that every down consistency so that he can get those consistent touches, volume touches in a game. But to do that, he's got to be able to do every phase of our offense consistently with no let up. What does that look like? Catching the football out of the backfield, blitz pickup, understanding the mental game. I call it that mental warfare that's going on between offense and defense.
Yeah.
Snap in and snap out, PA. But I love where Ty's at. Going to be a big offseason for him. Really, really excited about Ty.
What do you think about that?
All right. Well,
What do you think about that, Charch?
you guys may recall
Yeah.
the morning after the first night of the draft last year, we had Kevin O'Connell on. We're talking about the Addison pick that had just gone down. And I turned the conversation, as I want to do, to Ty Chandler. And at the time, it was equally glowing about Ty Chandler. You know, Kevin had all these good things to say, and then he probably didn't use them until December. So at this point, I'll believe it.
I know, right?
When Kevin O'Connell puts Ty Chandler on the field consistently and not before then.
All right, we have a common thread developing in the opening segment of the reunion edition of the Friday Football Feast. PA and Charch back together again. Always were. That's debatable. The developing situation is Paul Charchian has pent-up aggression.
Yeah.
And it will be released today via the therapeutic Davenport of Love. You see, he didn't get to go to the Combine for a second consecutive year, and we are potentially 10 days from Cousins' conclusion. The co-host twists and turns, and currently there is gnashing of the teeth. He lists his major needs for the Minnesota Vikings cornerback, defensive end, three technique, defensive tackle, guard, and outside linebacker.
Other than that,
that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Well, the good news is we have plenty of time to establish a plan. Thus, the Friday Football Feast is in the air. Nordo produces. He's Paul Charchian of GuillotineLeagues.com, and I'm Paul Allen. Welcome to the Friday Football Feast and TimberTech and TimberTech.com. Thank you very much for the assistance with the set list, which most likely will include at some point today former Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman, who still is at the Combine, and we'll chat with Ricky if and or when he has some free time, and Johnny Athletic, John Krasinski on the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's at about 11 o'clock. They hook the Kings this evening at Target Center shortly after 7. Welcome to the Friday Football Feast. Vikes Bites are next.
Delivers again! Vikes Bites.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. It is indeed time for Vikes Bites.
I got a new bit. Can I share?
Okay.
It's right before a break ends. I'll start a conversation with Charch about something deep.
and then just put the headphones on.
And then he'll get about 45 seconds into it, and I'll say, all right, we got to go back on the radio. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Well, and by deep, to be clear, it's what part of Paul's body does he want me to smell?
No, that was into the show. The new bit involved a deeper subject. He got 8 words into it, super impassioned, really wanting to open a vein. All right, hold on. We got Vikes Bites. We can talk about it in a minute. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't know what's happening to me today. Actually, I do. Vikes Bites. Go ahead.
Vikes Bites is presented by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. You can go to lifetimegraze.com. And I didn't know this. They're a Clearwater company and regenerative agriculture and all that. Learn about it. Shop for elite meat at lifetimegraze.com. They are donating proceeds from barbecue pork sales and barbecue brisket sales to Dinkytown Athletics.
Yep.
So they're helping out Dinkytown Athletics. They want to help keep Minnesota athletes home. Love that. So buy a brisket, buy barbecue pork, and know that you're supporting your favorite maroon and gold athletics department. So check that out, lifetimegraze.com. And let's just jump right back into the deep waters of the quarterback conversation, gentlemen. Kirk Cousins, you're an Indy PA, so it's we love him. We know he wants to be here. We think he wants to be here. That's the way that KOC was framing it up. They're going to keep him if they can. Maybe they have a number. There's all kinds of steam emanating from Indianapolis in regard to Kirk, maybe the Falcons, etc. But I heard this from Zach Klein. He's of WBS Television in Atlanta, their version of Rosie for WBS. He said this to Dukes and Bell, who host a radio show on the Falcons' flagship, 92.9 The Game. Let's listen.
As you guys know, you've been talking about forever, quarterback.
everybody I talk to says the logical thing is for them to draft, not go to draft. They want to go for a veteran move. All eyes, all arrows, everything points towards Kirk Cousins. Arthur Blank has basically told this front office staff, do what you got to do, pay what you got to pay, get it done. So everybody I talk to, agents, other coaches and scouts, guys around the league, that's the feeling that they are saying. What they are hearing is that the Falcons will put all their attention on Kirk Cousins moving forward.
So you hear that audio yesterday, and this is amidst the steam that was rolling out of Indy about Justin Fields and the idea that Ryan Poles going to do right by Justin Fields, but Atlanta, DraftKings, favored here, favored there, favored anywhere and everywhere, that was a potential opportunity for Ryan Poles to get some sort of maybe a day 2 pick, like a second rounder, send him to Atlanta, and then they take Caleb Williams. What do you think of that audio, however, that their version of Rosie in Atlanta is like, no, all arrows are pointing to Kirk. They want Kirk. The owners made it a mandate to do whatever you can to get Kirk. We want Kirk. I think that's interesting.
Let it out. Go ahead.
The Falcons are in a position right now. They're in their minds, they're in a win now spot. They've got a very good defense. Their division is just hot garbage.
Yeah.
You can, if you can get to 9-10 wins, you are in for the NFC South. If you sign Kirk, you don't have to give any picks. If you go Justin Fields, it's going to cost you some legitimate equity. They don't have to pay anything to get Kirk Cousins. Guys of Kirk's stature almost never hit free agency. Mm-hmm. Teams are going to bite on this. Mm-hmm. And let's remember, Raheem Morris and Kirk have a history together. It doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but sometimes those things do help.
Hold on. What's that bitch you hit me yesterday with the OC for Atlanta, and he used to be with the Rams? Zach Robinson? Was that you?
I don't think that was me.
Yeah, somebody hit me yesterday. I think their new OC might be named Zach Robinson, McVay tree, which means O'Connell playbook tree.
It is Zach Robinson.
Okay, yeah, so that might play.
Could be a factor as well. So should Atlanta be involved in the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes?
Yeah,
absolutely. They'd be crazy not to be a player here. And the worst thing that happens is Atlanta drives up the price. If you're Atlanta, you either get Kirk or you force the Vikings or anybody else who might be in this thing. Probably the Vikings. Maybe it's somebody else like Pittsburgh, Denver, Las Vegas. Those are all teams that might be in this as well. But you force up the price and make somebody else pay more. So the Falcons will be in this. They've got a ton of salary cap, almost $40 million under the cap right now. So they've got the cap flexibility as well. But they're in win now mode. People don't think they're close, but they are. The Falcons are a quarterback away from being a pretty darn good team and a playoff team, and they know that, and they're going to make a move on Kirk, I believe.
Zach Robinson is indeed of the McVay tree. He was with the Rams as an assistant quarterbacks coach 2019. All the way through this last season, he was the pass game coordinator and QB coach.
Thank you.
That's the 6 degrees of McVay to KOC to the Falcons to Kirk Cousins. Now, how about this? More on Vikings QBs from a different Zach. So we got Zach Klein, TV guy. We got Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. We have Zach Rosenblatt, who covers the Jets for The Athletic, talking about Zach Wilson. Here's what he had to say via The Athletic. Kirk Cousins is a free agent, and Minnesota doesn't have any young quarterbacks on the roster worth developing. Okay, well, what, Jaron Hall? You're just going to give up after one season, Zach Rosenblatt, who covers the Jets? In addition, quarterback-friendly coach Kevin O'Connell has a proven history of putting his QBs in position to succeed. This is the most intriguing potential destination for Zach Wilson. So Zach's all around. Zach Wilson to the Minnesota Vikings. Any opinions on that? If Kirk goes elsewhere?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about drafting a cat, and then there's some Sam Darnold terrorism potentially entering the mix. So what do you think about Zach Wilson to the Vikings?
I'd rather have Jaron Hall throw with his wrong hand.
I always love that one.
He got benched for Tim Boyle. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Zero interest in bringing Zach Wilson to the Minnesota Vikings on any capacity.
I guess I sent, because of green texting terrorism, I sent something J.J. McCarthy said this morning, in fact, within the last 30 minutes, about a meeting with the Minnesota Vikings. You see, quarterbacks are speaking at the Combine today. That's why Spielman stuck around for that. Likewise for Ben Gessling and just a lot of people stuck around for the quarterbacks for teams that potentially could be in the market for quarterback. So
have you listened to it?
I have not. No.
Would you like to?
I'd like to, and I'm riding by football faith here because I just read like J.J. McCarthy said he met with the Vikings, and I sent it to you. Why did I send it to you that way? Because I can't text certain things to you because of green text terrorism. Let's take a listen.
Well, that was anticlimactic. Hang on a second. Here we go. Here's J.J. McCarthy.
Hold on. I want to be fair. This is courtesy of a friend of Charch's, Thor Nystrom.
Oh, okay.
And Thor writes for whom or works for whom?
Well, he's the co-host of Fantasy Football Weekly.
Well, I understand that, but where he actually makes like his real income?
He does. This time of year, I think he helps out a few people, including Fantasy Pros and others. Yeah. But Fantasy Football Weekly, I'm recording with Thor in... I don't know. It's like 6 hours.
That's good to know.
Well, maybe you guys will talk about this. J.J. McCarthy gushing, Thor says, about his meeting with the Vikings at the Combine.
Went amazing. Coach O'Connell led the whole thing. And just being able to see him in person, he was a lot taller than I thought. And, Coach McCown. And just everything about what they were talking about, everything about what they wanted out of a quarterback is something that aligns with what I want. And just being able to, get on the board with them, have them go through their plays, it was something really special, and I enjoyed it.
How about that? Wait, we're going through what?
What?
I mean, I'm like, wow, he can really scan the field. His first observation was Kevin O'Connell's really tall.
I always love that.
Well, that feels like a pick six right to Eric Stokes going the wrong way. But after that, it got better. J.J. McCarthy.
Well, do you think that in this meeting, he's, again, gushing, I think was the right word. I mean, he clearly has an affinity for what KOC and this offense. He met Josh McCown and all of that. But do you think they sat down, and not via the playbook, but they said, here's a game we had against Atlanta, and you're going to drop back. Now, this guy's in motion. This guy's going to run a dummy route here, and he's going to pull the safety down.
Yep.
And do you see what happens in the end zone, JJ?
Yeah.
And JJ immediately goes, well, the tight end's going to actually leak wide open for a touchdown because you pull the safety down with Brandon with his route.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw it right there. So you're not going to pull down and run in that situation for a rushing touchdown?
Yeah.
I'll just hit TJ there.
What'd you think of the play, JJ? Well, I have no idea who was open. I was too busy watching Dobbs run.
I always love that
But what Nordo is saying is if you have a swivel like this kid does, the play was Hawkinson between the hash marks for a super easy touchdown. The foolhardy future of the franchise was established on actually what happened with the run into the end zone by Dobbs.
I always love that.
Causing Rubes, including causing Rubes to be like, wow. I mean, if we can get a quarterback for 3 years and $7 million a year, and he can actually throw the ball and run like the wind, are you kidding me? This is solving all the problems. Well, then they asked him to pass.
I always love that one.
It was a little bit of a problem.
My last thing for you, Vikes Bites related, non-QB related.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump back to an interview that you did. Speaking of Josh McCown, Cardinals connections, it's 6 degrees of something, it feels like, throughout Vikes Bites this morning, brought to you by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grace. Dave McGinnis, former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals during the 03 season. He was a long time, I forget what position he was, but it was 04 through 2011 with the Titans. Now he's the radio analyst with Mike Keith on the Titans flagship radio station.
Wow, really? Head coach to radio analyst.
Head coach, position coach. He's had one hell of a long career in the NFL.
Before he was head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, he was linebackers coach for the Chicago Bears the year after the 85 Bears, but he still had Marshall and all the cats and everything.
Wow.
McGinnis is cool.
He's and it was a great interview, podcastable, free iHeartRadio app. But he had this to say about a certain upcoming free agent running back.
Derrick Henry is a pretty unique. He fulfilled a complete 5-year contract. He earned every bit of that money. Now this is really his first time for free agency, and even at 30 years old, he's a remarkable. Look, I've been around in my career. When I first got into the league, Walter Payton was a running back on the team, and then you just mentioned Emmitt Smith. Been around Emmitt Smith, and then Derrick Henry. I was there with CJ2K. When I was coaching, so I've been around some running backs. We had Adrian Peterson. We brought Adrian Peterson in there, and I could be so. But Derrick Henry is different. So if anybody, I really believe Derrick Henry's has years left. So it's going to be interesting to find out. This free agency period, especially now with the extra $30 million being added onto the salary cap, this is going to flip a lot of scripts in free agency this year.
So not shocking, guy that had the catbird seat for the last handful of years of Derrick Henry's career. He likes Derrick Henry, but this list of free agent running backs, touching on it briefly last segment. He's the oldest of an interestingly named crop. From Derrick at 30, you got Saquon's 27, Josh Jacobs is 26, Pollard is 26, Eckler's almost 29. Devin Singletary really took the ball away from your guy Dameon Pierce last year, Charch, in Houston. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not even 25 yet. So Zeke's last leg standing, Cordero, DeAndre Swift, we know the names. But specifically, what do you think about what Dave McGinnis had to say about Derrick Henry? And now this is, again, it's a talker that has emerged with the upcoming release of Alexander Mattison.
Lowest yards per carry of his career last year.
Hate him.
I thought he looked like he had lost a step.
Cam Akers is better.
Cam Akers is not better than Derrick Henry. Now, think about this combo, though.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, and this won't happen, but you want the ultimate thunder and lightning combo? Derrick Henry and Austin Eckler in the same backfield. Oh, wow. That would be the ultimate. Ultimate thunder and lightning. Yeah. That would be the thunder. Would be Derrick Henry. The lightning would be Austin Eckler out of the backfield catching passes. So will Derrick Henry be in the league out? And is he going to find his way to another double-digit touchdown season with somebody? Yeah, you know what? He might. I mean, he's like the ultimate goal line back, right? Some team's going to find a way to put Derrick Henry in a position where he doesn't have to carry the ball 300 times. He can be more effective on less carries at this part of his career and still be good. You need the right offensive line that's going to open up some holes and let that guy build the momentum that Derrick Henry needs to get to the point where he hits the line of scrimmage. He's already got that head of steam going. I don't think the Vikings are the right kind of zone blocking is not Derrick Henry's bit.
Vikes Bites on fire. We've decided to make it our marathon segment for this hour, provided by. Anyway.
ThousandHillsLifetimeGrazed.com is the place to go. Go support those Dinkytown athletes, by the way, with barbecue pork, barbecue brisket. This is in the they like us, they really like us camp. We saw it earlier this week. The NFL Players Association released team report cards. And the grades, well, Miami Dolphins, the highest graded team in the league. And this was done by their players. So roughly 1,700 NFL players. That's about 77% of the league in terms of the players. They participated in this, and it was simply A through F. Voting on various things. For instance, treatment of families, the food, nutrition, locker room, training room and staff, weight room and strength coaches, team travel, head coach, ownership. Well, the Vikings were second best in the NFL graded on by their players. And specifically, some notes here. It was all A's and B's across the board. A+ head coach, A+ ownership. They love the nutrition, the locker room. They love the treatment of families. Very, very good and well-regarded organization. This is a place where players want to play. What's interesting about this, however, is I didn't know, I didn't think about these things, PA. You're in the facility so often, you see these things, I don't, but the impact they potentially have. So the Chiefs, this kind of stands out to me. The Chiefs were the second lowest grade in the NFL.
Yeah.
Where they had the highest grade on the coach. Everyone loves Andy Reid, but they all hate the owner because the owner won't upgrade the facilities.
It's true.
So they're super pissed. I think it's Clark Hunt, right? Yeah. And
That's
so
right.
They're super mad at him.
Yep.
But then I'm looking at this other stuff, and again, you've seen this by being at the facility.
You got the Buccaneers?
I do have the Bucs in here.
It's unbelievable.
It's absolute insanity.
The Glazers print money.
The Glazers absolutely do. Well,
I mean,
I'll start
So do the Hunks.
Well, that right, but
I think they all do actually.
That Courtney Cronin Women of the Combine event, like
Yeah.
I'm like super cool event, open bar, and there were a lot of people there. Who took care of that? Glazer family, Buccaneers, but they got bugs rolling around the showers, according to some players.
Well, how about this too? The reason they can pay for that happy hour is because players with 4 seasons or less and non-starters have to be roommates on road trips and are charged $1,750 per player if they desire their own room.
Yes. That's absurd.
They're charging players to not have roommates on road trips.
Right, and I thought that was going to be a situation with the Vikings 2 years ago, and hockey would be my roommate. But it's like that cartoon stuff that I see on his computer screen.
I always love that one.
I can't have that in my room, and you're looking at the Wi-Fi or whatever and thinking it's me, so we can't do that.
But how about this with the Cardinals? Well, their grades improved because they stopped charging players for meals. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah,
that's crazy. They changed the floors and equipment in the weight room. They added a small family gathering room.
Crazy.
The Bengals would not provide players 3 meals a day. They made a very slight change to that policy and now offer 3 meals at the facility on Wednesdays.
And because of all
and
that,
only on Wednesdays.
And because of all that, I think Meat Sauce has been triggered to tweet, "Poll ads just sell the team."
I always love that
Sauce,
one.
we're wrong sport, man. Okay, we're talking about a different sport.
Or how about the Jacksonville Jaguars? They opened a new training facility. They jumped from 28th to 5th overall. Last year's survey included a complaint about rats in the team facilities. No more rats. J.C. Treader, I think he's the player representing the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Holy cow!
They had rats in the training facility.
Wow, and we just thought those were their backup safeties.
I always love that one.
Cowboys dropped from 5th to 12th. They hate the training staff. They don't have enough trainers for the players, and the list goes on. But the Vikings, second in the NFL, world-class facility, world-class coaching, and the players really, really want to be there.
You know, give the Wilfs. I want to give the Wilfs some credit for a minute. And, you know, obviously this station's connected to the Wilfs, but I'm not. I can say whatever I want.
So can we.
When the Wilfs bought this team, they outlined all the things they were going to do that were so starkly different from what Red McCombs had brought to this organization, and they've executed that. Now, we have paid for a stadium, which was a linchpin of that, but they have done the things. The Wilfs have done the things that they set out to do, build the culture they wanted to build, the facility that they wanted to build. They brought in a head coach that mirrors their ethos, and I think the Wilfs are as good an ownership group as there is in the NFL. They let their football people make key decisions. They don't overstep their bounds, and they've put everything in place to allow the team to win in as much as any owner can.
They're in looking at combine-related Twitter. There's a cat named Tyler Owens, with Texas Tech, and here I found a tweet. The ability to direct message Mad Producer during the show and have something played quick fire because he's playing so fast today.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. This child, yours truly, is really enjoying this. Texas Tech's Tyler. This is Brent Sobleski who tweeted this. Texas Tech's Tyler Owens, who's a favorite to post the fastest 40 at this year's NFL Combine, doesn't believe in space as in other planets and feels flat Earth theories have some valid points. Let's listen.
You guys are discussing that you don't believe in.
Nah, I don't believe in space. I'm like, it's all religious. So I think like we're in the wrong right now. I don't think there's like other planets and stuff like that. I don't know.
What led you to that point to believe that?
Well, like I thought you should believe like aliens thing.
Or Nystrom had better audio.
Yeah, it's tough.
I can't. What was he saying? I couldn't tell.
But basically, doesn't believe in space, doesn't believe in other planets.
Wait,
he was asked
outer space. He does not believe that outer space is a thing.
Yeah, when you look at the sky, that might actually just be a lighted blanket. And then he also believes that flat Earth theories have, quote, some valid points.
Okay.
YA, young Alec Lewis, the Athletic, theathletic.com, still at the Combine. everybody stuck around for the quarterbacks. I wish I was there on Friday so I could see what these guys look like.
FOMO.
But YA tweeted 8 minutes ago, multiple top-end quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, praised their formal interviews with the Vikings this morning. Unsurprising, multiple folks, agents, team personnel, described Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores' intentionality/responsibility this cycle as notable. So now we got McCarthy. We heard him earlier, and you add Penix to the mix. So just in very, very slow developing fashion, it's all starting to come together right before our very ears. Boys, aren't you excited?
Well, okay, listen. Can you remember a time at the Combine where a player has lit up the organization he just interviewed with? Never. They all say good things all the time.
But they can say, yeah, it went well. Or they can say, yeah, the coach is tall. I really like the plays they had me draw up. I think what they do really fits me well, which is what J.J. McCarthy said.
He said everything that they do aligns with what I want to do.
Yep.
He didn't have to say that if it was just 15 minutes of pleasantries and random BS, and McCown gets in there, and McCown has this really awkward question that 3 months from now will be leaked to the media, and McCown will look like a jerk.
Yeah.
It was none of that. Like, he absolutely adored it. I think that goes above and beyond just being business-like about it.
Or like when Josh McCown, the new quarterbacks coach, you know that, right? Of course.
I do.
Do you know that he coached Drake May in Charlotte? Drake May, when he was in high school, Josh McCown was his high school coach just a few years ago in Charlotte.
No, I didn't know that.
Right. And so Drake May gets to the Combine. The Vikings hire Josh McCown as quarterbacks coach.
Yeah.
And Chris O'Hara now is the passing game coordinator,
right?
Which I believe was an elevation for him. But you're not seeing any, like Drake May said, the meeting with the Vikings went like this because it was the shortest meeting. From what I understand, it was the shortest meeting in the history of meetings.
Because we already know what we need to know about you.
May walked in and said hi, and McCown said, "Where do you want to live?" And he said, "Egan," and said, "All right."
I always love that.
See you in a few months. And that was it. That was it. It was over.
God.
That's all I got for you, gentlemen, at least right now, in terms of Vikes Bites. I'm going to have, when we go through some Combine rookie stuff, I can connect a couple of things back to the purple. But Thousand Hills is brought to you. Thousand Hills Lifetime Graze brings you Vikes Bites. And remember, barbecue pork, barbecue brisket on their website. It supports Dinkytown Athletics, so you can help keep Minnesota athletes home. Loving that.
Jeff Joniak is the play-by-play voice for the Chicago Bears. Pete Bursich, the analyst for the Vikings Radio Network, and yours truly, a couple of days ago, sat down with Jeff, and we just chopped it up, man, and had a really, really good time. We're going to play that back around the corner, and then get into some more Combine and National Football League related conversation, leading us up to Johnny Athletic at 11 o'clock on the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's 9 to noon on the Friday Football
Beast on the Fan.
What you got going on over there?
Well, an interview from the Combine that you and Pete Bursich did with Bears Vox Jeff Joniak. And Jeff Joniak, fade to black, longtime Bears Vox. Like, he's so good at what he does. But I love the way you started out this conversation with him, PA, because I've been trying to text with you for just over 10 years now.
Yep.
I've tried to text him to get him to join a different vibe of border battle, NFC North related bits. And I love Jeff in person. But if I text him, there's zero chance he's texting me back. And that's how you kick this thing off.
The analyst agrees with me on you're the worst person when it comes to texting
it's
back
a wives' tale.
about important things too, like you're going to show up at this time for the radio or dinner with Bursich. Why?
Well, Bursich, that's a whole different animal.
Right. Okay, well, I get that.
You know, hey, can you come down in 10 minutes? I'm here at dinner. You know, no, I can't be there in 10 minutes. But, you know, I'm not a great texter. I will admit that. But I forgot about the Eastern time. I feel this is a Chicago suburb.
Yeah. He's got the iPhone. He's got the iPhone 2 right here. Look at
iPhone 8.
You can
iPhone 8 with no case.
iPhone 6 with a torn up case.
Wait, you have a 6?
I have AOL also, and
so
I don't have Venmo.
You and I.
And I don't have Venmo.
Oh, I have Venmo, but I rarely use it.
Okay.
But I'm keeping this now as a symbol
right.
of something. Like I'm fighting the man. I'm not like I don't need anything more than that.
I think it's whatever.
I have an iPhone 8.
Yeah,
and it functions beautifully.
But when you talk about your memory or lack thereof, or Eastern Time, Century Time, really. I mean, you can have an AFC South team that you haven't seen in X amount of years at Soldier Field.
Nashville Central.
And you have all of their numbers memorized in 4 minutes.
I know. I wasn't thinking. But hey, Matt Eberflus was at the podium. I had to take care of business. Then we had a podcast.
Much like Thayer, he's tighter than 2 coats of paint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is why that phone was paid for in '96. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm trying to get the dinner thing going. And
wait till he works on his next deal with Kevin Warren.
No, I mean, I'm not a Bears employee, just for coaches shows and stuff like that. I'd like to be.
We're in that same negative 1099 boat, okay?
Oh, my
God. The 1099 hits all of a sudden.
I'm purposely not doing my taxes just yet. I'm afraid.
I'm just going to give 2 fingers and say, can we call it even? But, so then we got the pension. It's just there are many disasters on this horizon if we really went down. But that's okay. We love our jobs.
We do. We do love our jobs, and I love you guys.
Off the record,
enjoy listening to you guys. We've become very good friends.
Yep.
Off the record, Paul talked to Kevin last night at the women's women's group.
Yep. Courtney Cronin had a women's thing last night at Tavern's House.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I went to it. I was supposed to Kevin to get you a better deal.
I was supposed to go, and I did not.
Yeah.
We have tentatively agreed that you two guys, for the first half of the Bears-Vikings games, will swap.
Oh, that would be awesome. I've always wanted to work with Tom Thayer.
There you go. There you go.
Jeff Joniak, once again, play-by-play voice for the Chicago Bears. It's juicy with your Bears. I mean, it's so thick and juicy right now. Like, Courtney Cronin joined the radio show yesterday, and she's like, Fields is going to be traded, and I think it's going to happen soon. And then now you got Caleb Williams. She's saying what he's saying. And, by the way, you also have the 9th overall pick in the draft and $78 million under the cap. I mean, it's kind of good doing what you do right now.
Yeah, I mean, no question. Last year, I thought it was the center of the football universe for the Bears, and I was wrong. It's this year.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy, and the conversation is intense. Everybody's got a thought. Everybody's got an opinion. And in the end, Ryan Poles the other day said, there could be 100 different scenarios we're looking at. Mm-hmm. He may not be that far off, because you can really get creative if you want to and wind up with who you want to, and maybe you're going to surprise some people. Who knows?
I've said this 9 to noon, weeks ago, but I think it would be brilliant if not only if they took Caleb Williams or quarterback du jour at 1, came right back, messed around with that 9, moved up and got another, and just holds the league hostage. It's like, okay, we got J.J. McCarthy and Caleb Williams, and we'll take offers now.
With the litany of outstanding Chicago Bear quarterbacks.
Yeah. Next Kramer.
Why not have 2 of them?
You turn people's heads just now with
that.
I know. And I'm thinking
I'm
no one's ever brought that one to the table, but I kind of, I hear the trade down from 1 to 2.
No.
Trade down from 2 to
No, you take 2 quarterbacks 9. And screw the entire league.
Right. How about that?
Well, you can do it.
You can do it.
And you got 80,
why don't you ever take me serious?
That's fantastic. I love it.
And you got $80 million to spend on free agents.
I don't like free agency.
Really?
Yeah,
what about if you get Danielle Hunter and bookend him with Montez Sweat
That's
and
great.
pull him from a division team?
I got it. I love Danielle Hunter. However,
and we'll pick up Eddie Jackson and just burn you.
There you go. Do you need Eddie Jackson?
I mean, when he got cut, I'm happy he's out of the division. There's all these pick sixes he's always had against us.
Right. Well, that was a little bit of a, those things come in, they come in droves or they don't come at all. No. Yes, the Bears are in a nice position to really kind of set the tone for the next 5 years at least. And if you make a bad decision, though, it could set you back for the next decade.
You've been doing this for the Bears for, 20-some years, 30 years?
Well, this is 28th with the team, and it'll be 24th behind them.
Wow. Not your first rodeo. What, from a free agent need standpoint, what do the Bears need?
I
have my thoughts on it, Paul.
So edge. You've gone 28 years on a 1099. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Not entirely, but there is 1099 portions of our life.
Okay, I understand, but anyway, Bears needs.
Yeah. So the flimsy free agent needs. No, I mean, you got to pair somebody with Montez Sweat. What are they doing at 3 technique exactly? Because that's the engine of the defense.
We've asked that for 20 years.
Yeah, and then there's so many guys. So, you got to think about
And they're
the biggest guys on the planet, the guys you need.
And ironically, defensively, you guys are unique in the league in that you run a 4-man front.
Yeah.
Right? No one.
And Daniil Hunter jumped out of. He had the best season he's had because of the way he played the run last year. Stand up outside guy, Flores, the 3-4 hybrid with floaters or whatever. Yeah. Left defensive end, Daniil Hunter. And in a 4-3, holy cow!
Are you trying to sell him?
No, I'm not at all.
What are you doing?
And I love Daniil. I'm just saying,
suspicious now.
I'm just being I'm being business savvy here. Where the Lions,
hey, listen,
we never have any money. So
he hurt our quarterback last year.
Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's, one of his main jobs when he got the job was get the team younger. And let's not be searching for nickels and dimes every free agency period.
Right.
That's a work in progress. I just don't know if Daniil fits.
But, in all fairness, when you block Daniil with a running back, you're going to get your quarterback hurt. I'm just saying, in all fairness.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So he's not a bad guy. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
Let's see if he remembers what we talked about at dinner the other night. I know he will because he's elite. Jeff Joniak, Vikes for the Bears. The hardest hit that we ever have heard on microphones was, I think, 2007, Pete's first year. E.J. Henderson up the middle hitting Jason McKee right before halftime, and McKee lay on the field for like 5 minutes. Do you remember that?
He's our sideline reporter now.
Jason is?
He lived to tell about it. He's also a outstanding high school football coach at Carmel High School.
I didn't bring that up.
They went to the playoffs.
I didn't bring that up. I didn't bring that up when we talked to him.
He just put 10 guys from his senior class into a college program.
He's with the Caravan, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cult.
Anyway,
Mount Carmel's it's a cult.
That's
really?
sledgehammer right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, because it was like one of those moments where you're like, oh, hey, And
what do you call those? I have a name. I say badouche.
Badouche?
That's what I did.
I don't really have anything.
Yeah,
Andy's loose. No.
If it happens like that, I'm at badouche.
Yeah.
There you go.
And fade to black when the Bears win, of course.
We saw
Jeff Joniak.
We saw McKee's soul start to leave him.
Yes,
and then
we pray.
Believe me,
it came back.
That's unique because he also delivered some killer shots over the course of his time. And he still looks. I mean, he is rocked up, dude. He just sent me a picture of the weight room at Carmel High School yesterday, and he says, "Yeah, I'm getting my reps in."
The only other one was the Devin Hester touchdown.
Oh, the double move on Dwight Smith.
Yeah, when this is when Devin Hester sometimes played wide receiver.
Well, we actually won at Soldier Field that year, which never was happening.
And Dwight Smith lines up at safety. They put Devin Hester in a wide receiver, and he gets beat on a double move. I'm like, what the hell else
Jeff doesn't
is that guy
remember. Look
do?
at his face.
No,
what else is he going to do?
I don't remember the exact play. I don't have that kind of a memory. I can't even remember text messages that are sent by Paul
How long have
Allen.
they had dispensaries in the greater Chicago area? Because something's happened.
It would help me up.
Something happened. No, it's hindering your memory.
I don't remember that play. But was that the game that Adrian Peterson went wild?
Yes.
The move.
224 on the ground.
In space, Mike
and the
Brown.
Kickoff return?
They put him back at kick return. 61 yards. Then the third down before Longwell walked off, Lance Briggs put the hardest hit on Adrian Peterson he ever felt in his career. Yeah. And, of course, the place was going nuts. You got the bear jumping up and down on the sideline.
That was a game that man literally ran angry.
Yeah.
Forget about before the angry runs that are with our friend Kyle Brandt, NFL Network.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson was running angry.
But all those calls.
And he fumbled a lot.
Against Heath Farwell that Devin Hester would get on kick returns. I mean, it was just evening the ledger.
Or how about, do we want to talk about Dante Culpepper just throwing the ball to Urlacher?
Yeah.
Which happened I don't know how many times.
Right.
Especially in the red zone. He loved throwing
or
the ball.
Devin Aroma should do with a double move on just Antoine Winfield to walk off in overtime.
You know what we're bitter? We're bitter because we've signed so many receivers that you guys let go and they never honored them.
Bernard Berrien?
Bobby Wade. Wayne Bates.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, you have.
It's unbelievable.
You want to hear a Devin Aroma Shadouche story?
Please.
So, see, now my memory's already starting to fail
dispensaries.
me. Did you ever watch the movie Nebraska?
No.
Okay. Black and white movie.
Okay.
Everybody sending me texts, talk show. Hey, congratulations, you're in the movie. I go, I'm not in any movie, Nebraska. What are you talking about? And so I watched the movie in real time, so I got to wait for the moment. They said, oh, no, your highlight's in there. And so they don't show, there's a bunch of old guys watching a Bears game. And they don't show the television, but they got Tom and I in the background.
Oh, wow.
It's real low.
Yeah.
And Tom's reading Ruth's Chris steak commercial, and it's from a game. And it's Cutler to Aroma Shadou for the touchdown.
Are you kidding me?
Touchdown Bears.
And then go ahead.
And I'm like, holy crap! I go, hey, we made the silver screen. Tom.
Yeah, I made it.
So I go, God, where's the royalties?
Right, you went to the mailbox, nothing. And then the check came, and you're like, great, another $10.99.
Yeah, exactly. So fast forward. So wait, I wait for the credits again in real time.
Oh, wow.
Nothing. Not one. Not to NFL. Yeah. Thank you, NFL.
Instead, you're like, wait, does that say Dan Miller, Lomas Brown?
Nothing.
And you spent all that money getting your SAC, your Screen Actors Guild, your SAG, excuse me. But
exactly.
That union, you're paying money to the union, and you got nothing.
Exactly. All right. You got anybody here? Because I cannot remember the name of the actor.
Dispensaries.
Somebody look up the movie Nebraska.
I will.
Okay. Well, who is acting?
Why you act like I can't
well, I don't know. I don't want to because it's significant.
Obviously, his phone.
What do you want? Nebraska cast?
Yes.
Your phone isn't connected to the internet. Obviously.
It was actually that movie was up for an Academy Award. It did not win.
You could have won an Academy Award.
Could have won.
You could have been there.
Stop right there, Bruce Dern. So Bruce Dern's the star. Fast forward that year. Super Bowl's in New York.
Yeah.
Get a phone call from a publicist for Bruce Dern.
Yeah.
He says, hey, we're going to be out there. Are you going to be on radio? Would you like to interview Mr. Dern? He's a big Bears fan because Laura Dern, they lived in a lot of the cast members lived just outside of Chicago in a small town.
Arlington Heights, and Kevin Warren uprooted them with the new stadium. But
no. I go, hey, funny. I go, I got a highlight of mine in there. I'd love to talk to Mr. Dern. And you know what? Never got a chance to talk to Mr. I'd like to know why.
Wow.
No credit for that movie, Nebraska.
You did return that text message.
You guys are blowing it out of proportion.
But see, the movie...
I'm a busy guy.
No.
The movie was directed by and produced by Alexander Payne and written by Bob Nelson. Those are one of the two you have to call about the mailbox money.
I don't know them from nobody.
Right.
I mean,
one doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. This movie sucks.
You know, one other
Bruce Dern's a legendary actor.
One other thing that Jeff is failing to recognize is how well they're taken care of when we're in that freezing cold booth with in the midst of the fans. And we can't get hot chocolate. We can't get anything.
I got you.
You go down over there because we have to because we don't have a bathroom, so we got to go use theirs.
Yeah, that's flawed.
Coffee machine, shrimp cocktail at halftime.
Come on.
Well, now wait a minute. No, now
Dunkin' Donuts.
People fanning them during a tightly contested game.
Wait. The Zarangs.
Not even close.
RC Cola in a can.
The Zarangs bring the donuts first thing in the morning. You got to get there by 5 a.m. if you get them fresh, because that's when Thayer shows up. He's the first guy in. He gets the coffee going. Yeah. That's a Zarang, our engineer. That's their coffee pot. The shrimp is pregame leftover from the pregame show by Gate O outside. God knows.
Big deal.
What's happened. Yeah, and the filet sandwiches.
So Sylvie didn't eat the whole thing?
No. Then the filet sandwiches, those are good too. You got to check those out. But yeah.
Yeah, those ribs, hot dogs with the hard bread that we get at halftime.
Ribs, Come
on, man.
Listen, it is the only stadium in the NFL, unless I'm mistaken, Paul, that you're not near the press box to get the press box food. So you get a box lunch at halftime and a warm.
Have you called a game in Miami?
Don't even.
The corner Hard Rock bit.
That's awesome.
It sucks, but I mean,
sucks is not even the right word.
But it's not by the. You have to walk through like we beat the Dolphins last year. We're leaving and we
go. A party.
Yes, there was a party.
It's a nightclub.
It was unbelievable.
Wait, so do you know that they made that into a nightclub? They stay open a long time. They made it a nightclub, a place to party.
For the evening? Oh, geez.
So
I would have brought more money out of knowing that.
But you have to go through there to get to our crappy
Here's what
booth.
we got to do is next time they come to us is move them on the fourth floor further into the end zone. Because he loves being in the end zone to call a game.
No,
loves being in the end zone.
I don't, but I love that stadium.
Well, how about this?
It's the best.
Well, how about this? Complete Vox problems here, but Arrowhead Stadium, okay?
Yeah.
The window. The atmosphere's unbelievable. It's Arrowhead, loudest in the NFL. You're at the top of the stadium, which is fine. We're binoculars raised. But it's an enclosed booth for Mitch Holtis and the Chiefs radio network and the visitors. And I'm like, first time I got there, I knocked on it, and like, this thing ain't going to move.
It didn't used to be that
How do you enclose any booth from a broadcasting standpoint at Arrowhead of all places?
Well, Story is somebody fell out of that booth.
Oh, geez.
Yep, tripped on the stairs and fell.
It's good that Wayne Larrabee bounced out of it nicely.
Wait, I don't know the end result.
Limp, but I mean,
I don't know the end result of that.
That was almost his dagger.
But you remember? Were you?
When's the last time you guys played in Kansas City?
This year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nice of you to follow.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, everything he says, I need to feel and breathe the air. I don't want to hear my voice bouncing off the window in the heat of summer.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000 degrees. And again, I love KC. It's the fan base is phenomenal. But
the national anthem, best ever.
Yeah.
But at old Sun Devil Stadium, same thing.
Yeah.
You remember that?
03 McCown to Nathan Poole. My second year was at Sun Devil Stadium.
Your memory is unbelievable.
But we don't have dispensaries yet.
I was sitting as a coach. I was sitting as a coach on the other side of the glass. I was on the other side of the glass pane as a coach. And watch $15,000 get flushed down the toilet with that play.
Yeah, and Dave McGinnis.
That's how far
Dave
we go
McGinnis
back.
Right there, former coach of that 03 Arizona Cardinals team. Taped an interview with him, and it's like, hey, that was Emmitt Smith's final game. Okay, weird with the Cardinals. He talked about that, but he talked about that play, and then we hired Josh McCown yesterday as quarterbacks coach. How about this?
I just saw him today. He had a one of these. Oh, where is mine? Anyway, credential, and I didn't know. I didn't know he got hired.
Yeah. But
that's
McCown,
great. I love Josh.
McCown, recently coached high school football in Charlotte. Drake May. Hey, once we get dispensaries in Minnesota, it's going to be Drake May fires deep left to Bernard Berry.
Wait. He coached Drake May?
Drake May, yes, at Charlotte. And, just a few years ago.
You don't have Twitter, do you?
Yeah, you better start fearing the Minnesota Vikings right now, Jeff Joniak. Here we go.
And you know what he used to do?
Drake May.
Boy, that's interesting.
And speaking of the booth, you don't want to go.
You
don't want to go to Tottenham then.
Oh,
well, we were
going
there in
again
2019.
this year. Yeah.
Who are you playing?
Oh, we don't know yet, but the Tottenham bit was cool. I mean, we beat the Saints, double doink terrorism, another enclosed bit.
I know.
We're 3-0 in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to London, Tottenham. We were there in 19. And
you know who you're playing? You do, but you can't say.
Possibly.
Yeah, I haven't even asked yet. Like, who are we playing?
See, possibly.
When the commissioner texts him, he obviously returns.
Kevin Warren got hired as team president for the Chicago Bears. It took him 30 seconds to text me saying how well do you know him?
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Put in a good word. I ripped the hell out of him to Kevin trying to get that job, and he said, no, we don't operate that way, Paul. Hey, we got to go. Hey, you're the best, all right?
Love you guys.
I love you too, man. For sure.
Safe travels back.
Awesome. Jeff Joniak, Vikes for the Chicago Bears. Who select first and ninth as of now with the National Football League draft. The Bears also $78 million under the salary cap. Now, Caleb Williams, the quarterback for USC, is widely considered to be the first overall pick in the draft. And young Caleb spoke earlier today. I don't have Twitter-related audio from that. But Charch, in reading what the young man said, he was like, do you think there's any chance you don't go first? And then he's like, nah, I'm pretty sure that I'm going first in the draft.
There's some emerging steam that Caleb Williams may not go first, Paul.
Wow.
And it's most of it's related to Jaden Daniels. There's a real chance that people are going to ultimately look at Jaden Daniels and the upside. The thinking right now is the upside you get on Jaden Daniels could be higher, and that some team's going to reach for that upside, and maybe Chicago's going to see it that way. Or I don't think anybody's going to trade into the number one spot. I don't think the Bears are going to trade out of one in back-to-back years. But this is not the 100% chance that Caleb Williams goes first, though. We thought it was going to be 3-4 weeks ago.
Let me ask you this, Charch. I was going to bring it up with some combine bits that we can. I want to throw at you guys at some point this hour or now, later, never. Caleb Williams not going through his medicals. So according to CBS, they say that this will be the first combine invitee in the history of the combine that has either not gone through medicals and then also not shared any medical records whatsoever and allowed himself to at least be checked up at some point during the combine. So in some way, he's kind of been shrouded in the unknown throughout this entire process. Certainly he's not throwing or working out at all. So he's just going there to do these interviews. Like, is it just getting weird with Caleb overall? And are we just playing the subterfuge game here where in the end it was always obvious he was number one and the Jaden Daniels vibe was kind of a ruse? Like, where do you sit? Because I think things are getting weird with Caleb.
And look at just look at the chain here. I mean, there were reports, mostly through his father, that there are teams for whom he will not play if they draft him. Say Bears, Washington, New England, whomever. And then now with the combine, no, I'm not doing any of the strength stuff. No, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing that. I mean, he's calling shots he can call. But I just wonder what personnel people and coaches think of somebody dictating the tempo like that in Good Morning.
He's got everything to lose and nothing to gain. And, when you're locked in to that number one position for a year, the feeling is, why do I have to do any of that stuff? So I'm not going to. I'm not going to give you any reasons not to take me first overall. That's why we're seeing the actions that he have. Does it worry me? No, not really. I don't. I think if I were advising Caleb Williams, it might be all the same stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't do anything that's going to hurt your draft stock and knock you out of that number one position.
Right.
Maybe that's because he's the top pick, but I also liked what Blake Barrett said. And again, I think if he is indeed, it's obvious he's number one, so maybe this philosophy is different. But Barrett's was in studio with UPA on Monday, and he kind of went out of his way to say, it's actually, if you look at it this way, not doing the cognitive test or hiding this or that, there are implications as part of not doing that. So the risk of scoring poorly or scoring more average in a particular area, in some ways with a lot of teams, the risk is actually not doing it. And then people are wondering, well, why the hell is he not doing this aspect of it? Everyone else is doing it. It's a standard no deviated test as part of the combine. Everyone has the tape, but not doing it has its implications as well. So maybe it's just because Caleb's number one, but the way Barrett's was talking, that kind of made sense to me too. It doesn't hurt you drastically to just show up and do the things you're asked to do.
And Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, also, according to Charch's Tolstoy, indicates the Vikings have met with quarterback Jaden Daniels, and that Caleb Williams will meet with the team soon, which could be the combine or a pro day. We'll get into that and some more stuff around the corner. It is the Friday Football Feast at FM 100.3.